behind the long show it's going to go, right? You guys cut out the opening act.
Yeah.
Something we wanted to do.
Yeah.
We felt we needed to do. You know, we have so many songs. We've been. There's no way we could properly represent the music, the kind of music we've made over the years in a shorter show, and we just wanted to play longer. It's been something that other people have also wanted us to do for quite a while too. So it just felt like the right time to do something like that.
Yeah, it gives us a chance to stretch out a little bit, play different kinds of songs, other people's songs, old songs, new songs, all that stuff.
I'm sure in the longer format you can still have to cut out a lot of those.
Oh yeah, of course.
Tons.
We could play 10 hours and not play them.
Yeah. God, how many songs? We have 20 out. We have 200 songs recorded.
Do you have a lot of those songs that are unrecorded?
Do we have in the can? You mean?
Yeah.
Just song? Not really.
No.
Generally, we don't really write excess stuff. We generally write a certain amount because we write. We come up with ideas and they're usually unfinished, and then we don't finish them unless we're
right. Anything in the can is not finished.
Yeah.
It's funny because you talk to some guys, folk performers or blues performers, they say, I've got 2,000 songs. Well,
yeah.
They think they're all 12-bar blues.
Yeah.
I guess in your case, there's a little too much variety.
Yeah. We don't carry it through. We don't usually finish something unless we feel really good about it. And
an accurate assumption to say that perhaps you're putting a lot of emphasis on your entire career because you took 3 years off. And now it's like you've got some proof.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely accurate.
We're trying to put ourselves, even to do it to ourselves, to put ourselves in a little bit of retrospect. To deal with our music as a body of work as opposed to just what happens to be out or the top 10 or whatever. What's current. We're trying to think of ourselves a little beyond that.
Yeah. Trying not to be a human jukebox.
Yeah.
But actually, it seemed like you're like that now, though, because you've
well,
got the big body of work. And
it would seem even more like it if we did a condensed version of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because we have a lot of hits, so
yeah.
We get to play hits even though the show is 2.5 hours. It just seems like we can do more when we have a longer show.
I think the last time you came here, you actually solicited the
Yeah. That was something we never done before.
Uh-huh.
We asked the fans to pick their top, I think 15 or something like that.
Yeah, it was
10 or 15
top
songs.
10 it was.
And then we did those songs plus a few others.
Uh-huh. I mean, it must be easy to figure out what songs you're going to.
Well, it wasn't really much different than the songs we made.
Yeah, we weren't real surprised.
It wasn't a big change.
I'm in a fortunate position that you do have so many hit songs and you've got a million crowd pleasers. So
Yeah,
you can play 2.5 hours and nothing but hits.
Well, it's true. We are in a very fortunate position. We've had a long career and we've had a lot of success, so we can do that.
When I talked to you last, John, I asked you about what the benefits of the hiatus were. How about the drawbacks? What have been the drawbacks of the 3-year plan?
Well, I think it's like anything. When you lose a certain kind of momentum, then you have to kind of work to a certain place just to get back to A again. I think that this album, to me, strikes me now, and I'm looking at it in retrospect, is very much of an album that serves that purpose of reunion. We didn't use outside influences so much. We really kind of went within ourselves, and in that way, it almost reminds me of some of our earlier records, almost like a late '80s version of a singer-songwriter album or something. They're very song-oriented and introspective kind of songs. Not that that's bad, but that's I don't know if I can call that a drawback. That's just a circumstance of the whole thing, I think if there is a drawback, it's in the outside world. It's trying to get people to just be aware again in mass that we're actually making records and the whole thing. Just trying to get generate that kind of excitement that a role gives you. After you step off it. I think that's something you have to deal with. That we have to deal with, and we're in the process of doing it. And it involves a lot of touring and a lot of getting out in people's faces and just saying, "Hey, here we are again."
I think you guys almost had too much momentum from Voices. It's like
we had an amazing role going.
You guys were never off the charts.
No, that's right.
Constant.
No, we were not off the charts for about 5 years.
Yeah.
But that's got to end sometimes. You got to. I think that we were feeling a little overwhelmed by that. Maybe some other people can deal with that, but we felt a little not stifled, but restricted by it a little bit. Like it felt like, okay, let's break the walls down a little bit and get out there so we can move to the next step.
Can you come back bigger and better?
Who knows? We'd like to. I don't know what bigger is. You know, we come
More
back in a
hits.
different way. You know, I mean, no, we can't come back with more. You can't have more hits than the kind of role we had. We can duplicate it possibly. Who knows? But the idea is to sustain yourself and to make a mark in the world. It's kind of hard to describe what I'm saying. It's to become more than just that human jukebox. You know, I don't know, to expand upon that. You know.
Well, I mean, it's kind of hard to top what you've done so far.
Yeah.
Because you've already
Yeah, but you have to define what success is to you,
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and what topping that is.
Mm-hmm.
Topping that in terms of just matching sheer numbers is not necessarily what we really are about. It's great and it's rewarding. It has its rewards, commercial rewards, but you know, when you're working intensely as we were and having hits and touring and the constant demand for your time doesn't really give the creative side of your personality a chance to expand that much, because you just don't have the freedom to do it. And that was partly another reason for us wanting to step away from it and step outside of it. And now, you know, I think we realize now, coming back and kind of seeing where we settled to in the scheme of the pop music world, we realize that we have like a real loyal following of fans who really like us for our music, and not just because we happen to be
Trendy or just
the trend,
what's
the
happening
trend
right
of the
now.
moment, the hot guy on the block, you know, hot kid on the block, and that's
In some ways, that's more rewarding because you find out really where you're at.
yeah,
You know, you find
it's
out
a very
what
honest
what
appraisal of where you're at. And having experienced that now, I think we're both. It kind of enriched us as people, and I think we can see that now, and we can accept that and say, "Good, that's good." Now we can just go on about making music and extending our career, which is what we want to do. We want to be able to play music for a long time, and there's many routes to being able to achieve that, and this is one of them, I guess. This is our way of doing it, at least.
Yeah, concept of what you'll be like in the future. You pointed something out that it's not quite a correct assumption there. You said, like, in the case of white artists, the world of pop often discards you once you've lost your momentum, once you've lost your novelty, whereas black artists tend to hang on to at least a club circuit. They always enjoy a following, regardless of how small it is. There's always a solid following. In your own case, have you thought about this? What will you be like in the future?
Well, first of all, that's a misconception too, because I think that the black audience is in some ways even more fickle than the white audience.
A better analogy would be country artists than pop artists. The country artists can sustain careers forever.
Yeah, that's right.
They have very heavy fan loyalty. That's a better analogy, but that's neither here nor there. We know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and I think in any area you're working in, whether it's black, white, country, whatever it is, there's a certain depending on the kind of impact you have, on the form, you know, on the way you touch people, you can either be regarded kind of on the surface and trendy and fashionable, and then you do get dropped. Then you're just as good as your next hit single. And then some artists have the ability to write songs that touch people in a way that they remember them and they stick with you. I think that we have both. You know, I think that this tour that we just in the States bears out exactly that. You know, we lost a lot of people that were just coming because we had, you know, the next #1 record or whatever. We lost some of them, but we have a broad base of people that don't care about that. So I think that we're kind of proving to ourselves and everybody else that does exist, that we have the ability to sustain.
Would you like to emulate anybody, like, I mean, say 20 or 30 years older than you, that you've seen?
Well, that generation, I mean, sure. I mean, there's the old rockers. I mean, but you know, those guys, they kind of invented rock and roll. You know, you got a guy like Chuck Berry or Roy Orbison, people like that. Yeah, I'd like to be like that. I think that's something to strive for. You know, that's those people. You know, rock and roll never dies. That era. You know, we've gone through a few eras of music. You know, we started in the early '70s, so we've survived a lot of trends and fashions and. We'll see if we can keep doing it. I certainly hope we can.
But nothing in mind as to what you'll be 20 years from now.
Who knows? Hopefully different than we are now.
I saw a comment recently, just the guy's presence on stage.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody could fit it to him.
Hey,
Could you see yourselves being in the same position? Like when Daryl Hall and John up on the stage, it's like a whole different world.
put it this way, I don't see why not. Circumstances, luck, a lot of things are factors in that. But we certainly we ain't gonna go anywhere. So it's a matter of whether people want to accept us as that, and if we have the ability to keep writing songs that can affect people, And if not, then who knows? I'll raise sheep.
What do you guys think of the fickle pop world? Taking on new guys, discarding the old ones. Do you enjoy the whole thing, or is it something you just sort of take in stride?
Well, it's frustrating. I mean, we went into this with our eyes open. I mean, we've been around. Yeah. Rock and roll's been around longer than we have, and we've seen what it's done. We grew up. In fact, we grew up in probably the most fickle scene in the when we started out in Philadelphia. That was like the essence of the fickle, We were watching it happen. I knew Chubby Checker in the late '60s when he was, had all this success and was like scuffling around looking for work. And Lenny Barry, the Dovells, and Fabian and Frankie Avalon, and people like that, So we saw it from the beginning, and it was kind of a good lesson to learn right from the top, because we saw the mistakes those guys made. We saw why they couldn't sustain. And really, when it comes down to it, it really has a lot to do with your innate ability and talent and all that stuff. Those guys they didn't have anything at the core. I mean, they were.
You think so?
They were manufactured. Yeah, those people in particular. Uh-huh. They were manufactured artists. But then you find other people that are they're really creative people. They're people that write songs. They write their own music. Mm-hmm. They have their own style. They invent their own style, and they can be around forever. It depends on your ability to adapt to change and. I mean, I don't like the fickle attitude of pop music, but in other ways, it's acceptable, and also it's kind of good in some ways too, because it gets rid of all the dead weight.
I can recall talking to Todd Rundgren. He said that when he produced War Babies, that you personally, Daryl, had wanted sort of a David Bowie type thing. So, are you kind of fickle yourself?
I changed, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. That was kind of a facile thing for him. David Bowie. I mean,
It was like 74, so
yeah.
14 years ago.
I wasn't any more David Bowie-ified than he was. I mean, he was walking around with multicolored hair and his own self, So I think that we were all reflecting the times. Yeah. Nobody's got a lock on that. But yeah, sure, we change all the time. I mean, as people, you grow up. We were kids. We were kids then, and we're men now, and. Hopefully the music reflects that, and hopefully we'll keep changing as people change.
And then we'll be old men.
Yeah,
Then we'll be dead.
That's all there's to it.
There you go.
Charts have become kind of interesting as of late because there are a lot of crossover acts from the black charts. And of course, you guys were labeled Blue Eyed Soul quite a while back. It's kind of interesting that you don't play up that side more, like throw in a rap number, throw in a little more street.
We're not interested in doing a minstrel show. We're not copying black people. We're not copying black music. We're making our own music, and it's based on our own point of view and our own experiences. Our experiences happen to have a lot to do with the black experience, especially in Philadelphia as we grew up, and it still has a lot to do with the experience of New York City today, which is a very multiracial, multinational city. And that is our experience, which we reflect. We don't copy things. We don't pick up on a trend, especially like rap music, and say, hey, that's the happening thing. Let's do it. It's not what we're about. So we just.
I don't think anybody's ever really thought you guys copied anything. It's just you made music that was viable as soul, viable in the black charts. Yeah. And you just happen to be white.
Yeah, that's it. We're white people with soul. Like John said,
rap music is the street music of the teenagers of New York.
It reflects their experiences.
We don't
live in the South Bronx.
That's their music.
You think your music reflects your environment?
Yeah. I think it's West Village music.
Yeah. That's where most of our music comes out of.
Yeah. That's where it boils down.
With our music as a body of work, as opposed to just what happens to be out on, or the top 10 or whatever, what's current. We're trying to think of ourselves a little beyond that.
Yeah. trying not to be a human jukebox. You know?
Yeah.
But it actually seemed like you're like that now, though, because like, you
Well-
got the big body of work and.
It would seem even more like it if we did a condensed version of it. You know what I mean? Because we have a lot of hits, so
Yeah.
we get to play hits even though the show is still like the right time to do something like that.
Yeah, it gives us a chance to stretch out a little bit, play different kinds of songs, other people's songs, old songs, new songs, all that stuff.
I'm sure in the longer format, you can still have to cut out a lot of the material.
Oh yeah, of course.
Tons.
We play 10 hours and not
Yeah,
play.
God, how many songs? We have 20 out. We have 200 songs recorded.
Do you have a lot of other songs that are unrecorded?
Do we have in the can? You mean?
Yeah.
Just song? Not really.
No.
Generally, we
We
don't.
don't usually finish something unless we feel really good about it. And then
An accurate assumption to say that perhaps you're putting a lot of emphasis on your entire career because you took 3 years off. Now it's like you've got some proof.
Yeah,
I think that's definitely accurate.
We're trying to put ourselves, even to do it to ourselves, to put ourselves in a little bit of retrospect. To deal with.
Behind the long show, it's not right? You guys cut out the opening act.
Yeah.
Something we wanted to do.
Yeah.
We felt we needed to do. We have so many songs. We've been. There's no way we could properly represent the music, the kind of music we've made over the years, in a shorter show, and we just wanted to play longer. It's been something that other people have also wanted us to do for quite a while too. So it just felt
Really write excess stuff. We generally write a certain amount because we write. We come up with ideas and they're usually unfinished, and then we don't finish them unless
that's
we're
right.
going to
Anything in the can is not finished.
Yeah.
It's funny because you talk to some guys with folk performers or blues performers, they say, I've got 2,000 songs. Well,
Yeah.
their thing is they're all 12-bar blues.
Yeah.
I guess in your case, there's a little too much variety there.
Yeah. We don't carry it through.